right, Bubba. I heard you on your show this morning. You did what I did. We shorted silver. We killed the markets. Nonsense is taking over again, Bubba. We talked about this Tuesday, and here we are here on Thursday, and it's playing out in real time. Talk to me about what's going on in the markets. What's changing over the last few days? Why is silver not running like it's nonsense again?
Well, I mean, it ran obviously yesterday and it tried to run this morning. And then suddenly you could just see the overall action was not there. And you could see, listen, we've seen these bubbles before and this crazy buying, the fear of missing out, the FOMO, the whole deal. And all of a sudden you could kind of see. And this morning I was talking about gold with my live trading room. And I said, look, I think gold could close lower on the day. And we were up 270 at the time. At the end of the day, when people start to get crazy and they don't care about price, they don't care about time, they just want to get in. If you remember Gordon Gekko, get me in a 45-degree angle. That's what they're trying to do. And now you have the other side of the equation. Well, what should I do? Do I sell some here? I said, what do I get out? I said, you have to understand what your own objectives are. Right now, this market is an all-out panic buy right now. We're starting to see a little bit of selling here, a little bit of pressure. And I think the pressure starts to accelerate. We get 1 or 2 days like this big beat, and I think you're going to see silver back under 100 if we get what I think we're going to get. I mean, this is really something. It goes back to the internet bubble, which is the greatest example, because stocks were going up $50 and $60 a day back when they didn't do that in markets, right? And silver is making moves. It's moving 6, 7, 8, 9% a day. Markets don't move like that. The parabolic direction changes, and you can start to see that, and you can start to feel it. So the call was not so brave to say that we could be lower because you could see the FOMO trades. You know what happens with FOMO or with panic? Eventually, the buyers run out or the sellers run out, and there's nobody left to buy them. And all of a sudden, they fall on their own weight. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and I took some heat on the internet saying, oh, we're going to 200. The other day, I saw some posts like, oh, my God, we're going to 5,000 on. I was just like, I'm confused. I'm literally confused. Why is this happening? Oh, because I saw all these narratives. Hey, yeah, they're running out of silver and they need it for electric vehicles. They need it for silver, needs it for solar panels. Okay, what was different between 3 weeks ago and 3 weeks in the future to where we are now? What's happened? Nothing. Not a damn thing has changed because Elon Musk said this is going to happen in the future. Then we're good. Okay, yeah, I get it. We talked about that, Bubba, when silver was at 19, when gold was at 2,500. Great. Where were those people then? Why is the market all about becoming gambling again? And I got to get in, and I can't. I say, Bubba, I say all the time, got to be the ticker, right? I want to be there taking tickets as these guys go in, and I want to be the ticket taker when these guys go out because I'll buy when the blood in the streets and right now you're seeing people freaking out. I bought Microsoft today on a trade, and it got wonky, and I was like, okay, I'll take it for $2 or $3, and it was simple, and I was like, all right, what is the psychological mindset, Bubba, that's changing the world right now?
First of all, you've got the big rumors of the central banks, buying silver, buying gold, buying all the metals, right? So that's the big rumor on the street, which is prompting some buying. It's the rumor that they're going to try to raise the value of the metals and pay off their debt in metals, which is, again, total malarkey. We know that's not going to happen. We know that's not the thing. So you get the fear, you get the chase, and the people don't want to miss out. They won't care as much when they get destroyed on this trade, but the enjoyment that they're getting for the little bit of a ride they're going to get, it offset. It is a strange psychological view that traders and investors alike look at. And of course, now that we're in the electronic age, it even happens faster and more often. In the old days, you got your quarterly statement from your broker, not daily, not monthly. Now with the iPhone or any smartphone, people are looking at their 401ks every 20 minutes, like they're going to do something about it. This is the market's direction. This is what happens. You get the FOMO trade, you get the people chasing it up, and they don't care. They want to get in. And of course, most of them are getting in at over leveraged positions, not only overpaying, but they're using too much leverage, which means that they're going to be forced to panic out, or the technical trading term, they're going to be forced to puke it out a lot faster than they want. And we all know what happens with leverage. comes in, it goes down a lot faster.
Yeah, puke it out. I think that takes us back some time, doesn't it? Okay. 2 minutes ago, GOP senators are prepping a potential vote for tonight to wrap up funding for DHS as well, and signaling a deal with the House Republicans and the House Democrats and the Senate Democrats. Yeah, I'm hearing reports now from NBC News that, and we're hearing that Kathy Woods is now resuming her crypto buying. A lot of news going on. It just seems like the taco trade's right back on here, Bubba.
The taco trade is always on. The art of the deal. The guy is always on it. But look, are they going to shut the government down again? Listen, you know where the left stands on this homeland security. We've seen it going on in Minneapolis. So are they willing to shut down the government again? Probably. Okay. Again,
I don't think so this time. I think what's different is they realize what kind of a political hit that the Republicans took on the shutdown. The president doesn't always get blamed. It's always the loudest mouth, right? Democrats learned that a long time ago. Keep your mouth shut. If you're going to do a shutdown, shut up and just get to work. It seemed like the Republicans want to do the blame game, and people don't like the blame game. So that happened again. I think that's what happened here. I don't care about either side, to be honest with it. Just get to work. I think that's what you always say, right? Just do your damn job.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Right.
It's the same. I got once kicked off of a TV station once. They were talking about universal basic income in Germany. And I said, tell the people to get out their lazy ass off the couch and go to work. Get a job. There's plenty of jobs out there if you want to work. Okay. You don't have to sit at home and worry about it. They may not be the great job that you had, but there's work out there. And if you're really someone who wants to survive, then go to work and get a job and make some money.
And what do you say to those people that can't get a job because AI took their job?
Because they what?
Because AI took their job.
There's other jobs out there, Steve. Big beat. There's jobs out there.
Nobody wants to.
They may not be as good as the job you had, but you know what? You want to feed your family. You want to grow. You want to have a chance to get back and create a new career and a new job. Then you got to go to work. You don't create a new career. You don't create wealth sitting home on your ass doing nothing. Okay, that's the bottom line.
Amen to that. I mean, I wouldn't know that, Todd, because I never have sit down on. I retired 5 times. I can't seem to do it right. And when you look at, you look at what's happening in the economy. The K economy seems to be branching out to another K, right? You have the original K economy where the rich are getting rich and the poor are getting poor. And then you got this breakout on the rich. They're going, okay, I'm going to keep spending. And then the other K is like, okay, I'm not going to spend so much. Then the lower part of that K is like, well, I don't have a job now, but yet I'm still going to go out to the bars and spend money. It just seems, we heard that from Powell yesterday saying, yeah, we know people are losing jobs, but they're still spending, and we don't know why, right? We don't understand it, and inflation's dropping.
Because the credit card companies and the automakers are making it so easy to dig you deeper into debt and to put you in a hole that you're never going to get out of, okay? Let's face it. These interest rates are all hidden, okay, especially the credit cards that are giving you no payments till 2027. So people are going to spend their money that they don't have. And unfortunately, what a lot of people don't realize, you cannot go bankrupt on credit card companies. So look, the companies are creating this mess, and it's being allowed, which I think is wrong. Again, we don't as citizens, most people in the United States of America live by the month. How much is it by the month? Can I afford it? And they don't care about anything else. They're going out to restaurants. They're going out to bars. They're going to Starbucks and paying $8 for a cup of coffee because they can charge it and they don't have to worry about paying for it. But when the bill comes due, you and I both know what's going to happen.
And we're hearing the president wants to cap those to 10%. Shoot, why not? If you can make that kind of money in the market and just pay off a credit card bill, that's kind of what's happening, right? This is becoming a gambling mentality here.
I think the president needs to let the free markets trade. This is one of my complaints about everything in government right now, whichever side you're on, is let the free markets trade. The interest rate market is telling you that cutting rates is stupid. Okay. Cutting rates is stupid. It causes higher inflation. And as the mortgage rates come down, not really. The 10-year notes are up 50 basis points since the first cut. So you tell me
4.227 the 10 year still hasn't changed. Yeah.
We don't understand. The government doesn't understand that let the markets trade. The free market will price any asset class. Doesn't matter what it is. There's a buyer and there's a seller, and they're going to find a price in which to work it out. And I encourage everybody to go back to the original Bubba when it opened. You want to learn about price discovery. That was the greatest. Bob Pisani did this interview on Alibaba when they first opened, and it went through the whole process. And if our government and our Federal Reserve would allow these markets and allow everything to free trade, you know what would happen? We'd have a real economy, and it probably would be good. And it wouldn't be K-shaped. Yep. It wouldn't have only the wealthy getting wealthier and screw the poor people. It would be equally balanced, and people would be able to live, and we'd have a lot better life going for everybody.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I need to know what you're thinking about it, because I feel like the world is changing a little bit. And I've always said the world lives on Fifth Fleet diplomacy, meaning wherever the Fifth Fleet's located, that's where our thought process with CENTCOM. 3 major aircraft carriers sitting in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Arabian Sea, and 7 destroyers are sitting there as well. You've got a situation right now where it looks like we're going to go to war with Iran. What do you think is the likelihood of that happening, and how do you position your portfolio for this, I guess, inevitable or uninevitable situation?
Well, I think if we go to a war with Iran, it better be a quick war, because they certainly cannot keep up and compete with what we can do. But again, I don't want to see another Afghanistan, another Vietnam, another ridiculous, stupid waste of money, lives, human life, wasted, soldiers wasted. I think the portfolios need to be positioned in obviously some defense, but I think the portfolios need to be protected. Again, I think trying to time the market under any circumstances is always a bad idea. I think you're much better off saying, okay, I want to own Apple, Nvidia, whatever you want to own. And you can hedge those and protect those so that if they do go down, you're protected. If they go up, you get to participate in the upside. I think that's more important than trying to figure out what's the right thing to buy, because we know one thing for sure in history: it's not timing the market, is the time you spend in the market, because good companies go up over time. Just like the metals, they go up over time. So I don't think you should worry so much about what the war is, because a lot of that news already gets priced in. I think it's more important about learning how to hedge your portfolio and protect it so that you can stay in and accumulate when there's blood in the streets, if there happens to be. But I go back to Desert Storm. You may be too young to remember Desert Storm.
I remember Desert Storm. Come on now. A lot of friends with Desert Storm.
The Desert Storm.
And Desert Shield.
Missiles were hitting. Everybody was worried the markets were going to collapse. The markets exploded higher. Okay. They were limit up. So
they did.
Again, it's hard to say how everybody's going to react, and especially with the news cycle. You know, Big Beat, I go back to the days when we did stand in front of a TV set like they did in Trading Places, waiting for the news to come out, because all we had was little 6-inch LED screens. Okay, we didn't have an internet or a computer in my pocket that I could see the news happening. We actually stood there even on Thursdays. Right about now, the M1 money supply was coming out. Okay, we didn't have it coming out. There was 50 traders standing around 2 little LED screens, not computers. So again, the news is out. What we're going to do. How the markets react is unknown. Okay, because if they're going to be fearful, they're usually fearful in head. It's the old story: buy or sell the rumor, then buy or sell the news.
Yeah, and I like that question mark you just gave to us. Let's talk about that for 1 second. And I like that answer. What happened during Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and what was it, Nightblade, and all of those things they called it back in the day. I'm going to go back to that time frame. I'm going to pull up a chart here of the dollar. Let's do that real quick. And while I can get you here, share my screen, the Dixie. And you're saying that the dollar, the market's exploded. If we look here on this here time frame is 96. Obviously Bush won. Here we go. This was 1980. Who was president? That must have been Mr. Reagan. Right at the end, obviously that was Carter. Carter was 70s, late 70s, early 80s. There you go. Right there.
Carter 80. Carter was
80. That's right. That's right. And he weakened the dollar like we are right now. So Trump can be a lot like Carter, and that's why we're weakening the dollar. But when Reagan came in, Dollar went sky high. It really was make America great again, and it went to over 164. If you think about it from the perspective of Desert Shield, Desert Storm, that was 91, right? The dollar didn't move much, 80 to 98, but it moved pretty quickly. And it backed down during the dot-com bubble between 93 and 95. That's when we were there. And 95 all the way to 2000 with Clinton time, dollar was going up in the good times. So talk to me. What should the dollar do?
Well, this is another problem, Big B. Okay.
We have a president that's make America great.
This is a problem. Again, this is not a presidential issue. This is a ignorant issue by a lot of our producers.
Okay.
Everybody wants to say, well, the dollar's too strong, so I can't export my goods. Now, again, I'm yet waiting for an answer. I've been asking this question for 50 years. Okay. Why do we need a weaker dollar? If you want a weak dollar, or if you get a strong dollar, lower the price of your goods. It's the same difference. Okay. If the dollar's up and you lower the price of your goods, you're getting the same net result. But this is the problem with the fiat currency system. This is the problem with central banks and the Federal Reserve, because they've been stealing money from the American people and people worldwide, going back to the 1600s in England. Okay. Central banking is not a good idea. It never was a good idea. And Woodrow Wilson got conned into, or was part of it. I don't know the answer to that. But that is the problem with the dollar. It is the central banks manipulating the dollars and the fiat currency. But at the end of the day, no matter where the dollar is, citizens end up with less money, because the dollar, even if it shows it's worth more, is still worth less versus the other currencies. Yeah. And the prices have risen and your dollar is worth less.
All right, Big Beat, or was bringing you on here.
You're a Big Beat.
No, I said Big Beat's bringing in Bubba here, and I love it. Stick around, Bubba, for I want to introduce somebody, but we thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see you right back here on Tuesday. Stick around here, Bubba.
And I'm going to have